In the last lecture, we studied about the block diagram of digital communication, and in today's lecture, we will study importance of source encoder. So let's start our lecture today. So let's start the topic, importance of source encoder. Importance of source encoder. Now, as we discussed in last lecture, the information source is there. It generates some symbols, and that symbol is passed through source encoder, and source encoder converts the generated symbols into stream of bits. Now, there are various ways in which we can convert the input message into stream of bits. Now, the work of source encoder is to decide which grouping or which type of stream of bits is better, such that to transmit that message we get least average length of a code. So whatever I said, I will explain by using an example. So let's assume information source is generating four symbols: A, B, C, D. So as there are four symbols and they are discrete symbols, so it is a digital information source. Now this message will go to source encoder. Now this is input to source encoder. Now one way to encode this symbol is the simplest way, and that is A is mapped to 00, B is mapped to 01, C is mapped to 10, and D is mapped to 11. But is this the best way to map the information symbols? We will look at it. So this is best way only if my symbols are equiprobable. That means the occurrence of a particular symbol, the probability of occurrence of particular symbol is same. That means each symbol is having a probability of occurrence as 1/4, as there are four symbols. So probability of occurrence of each symbol is 1/4. But what if a particular symbol is having a higher probability? So let's assume first let's assume all are equiprobable. So probability is 1/4. So see, A is mapped to 2 bits, right? So length is 2 bits. Here also 2 bits. Here also 2 bits. Here also 2 bits. Now if all the symbols are equiprobable, then probability of A equal to probability of B equal to probability of C equal to probability of D is equal to 1/4. If I calculate the average code word length, see, this is a code word, right? 00 is a code word for A, 01 is a code word for B, 10 is a code word for C, and 11 is a code word for D. So if I calculate average code word length, so what is the formula for average code word length? It is summation I is equal to 1 to n pi li. So n is number of symbols. So this is the formula, and if I calculate the average code word length, I will get what pi means 1 by 4 into length is 2 plus again for b 1 by 4 2. This is for a, this is for b 1 by 4 into 2 plus 1 by 4 into 2. This is 1 by 2 1 by 2 1 by 2 1 by 2, so I will get 2 bits per symbol, right? This is the average code word length if my symbols are equiprobable. Now second case, if the symbols are not equiprobable. In this case, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's take probability of A has 1 by 2, probability of B has 1 by 4, probability of C has 1 by 8, probability of D has 1 by 8. Okay, so here the symbols are non-equiprobable, so these are the probabilities which I have taken. So here also I will divide it in two parts. Let's take A, and this is, let's take B. Case A, case B. Now in case A, I am mapping like this: A has 0 0, B has 0 1, C has 1 0, and D has 1 1. Okay, so in this case, let's calculate the average code word length. So average code word length is denoted by L. So L is equal to, again, probability into bits, probability into number of bits which is used in code. So here it is 2 bits, 2 bits, 2 bits, 2 bits. So average code word length will be 1 by 2 times 2 plus 1 by 4 times 2. This is for A, probability of A into number of bits, plus probability of B into number of bits, again 1 by 8 into 2 plus 1 by 8 into 2. This is for A, for B, for C, for D. This is 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 4. It is 2 bits per symbol. So in this case, again it is coming 2 bits per symbol. For every symbol you require at least 2 bits. But is there a way in which I can reduce this average code word length? Yes, there are ways in which we can reduce average code word length, so that for particular symbols we need to send less number of bits, and let us check that method. So see, by using some method I get like this. I'm mapping A to 1, I'm mapping B to 0 1, I'm mapping C to 0 0 0, and I'm mapping D to 0 0 1. Okay, and let's see in this case what is average code word length. So let's calculate L. Again this is 1 by 2 probability, so 1 by 2 probability into number of bits, that is 1. Here it is 1 bit, 2 bit, 3 bit, and here also 3 bits. So average code word length will be 1 by 2 into 1 bit plus 1 by 4 into 2 bits plus 1 by 8 into 3 bits plus 1 by 8 into 3 bits. When you calculate this, you will get 1.75 bits per symbol. See, there is a difference, and if you use this type of coding, then your average code word length decreases. So which is better? Obviously this one, because we will try to reduce the average code word length for a particular symbol, right? So this is a better way to encode the information source. Now this is the importance of source encoder. You will try to decide a coding technique in which your average code word length reduces, and such type of coding techniques are Huffman coding, Lempel cell coding, and there are various coding techniques through which you can decode the information source into bits, and that will reduce average code word length. So main importance of a source encoder is to reduce the average code word length. So basically what we try, the if a particular symbol is having a probability of occurrence high, so we will try to encode with less number of bits, and if the probability of occurrence is low, we will try to encode with more number of bits, which will automatically decrease my average code word length. For example, Morse code. In Morse code, the symbols which are having higher probability is coded with less number of bits, and the symbols which are having low probability are coded with higher number of bits. So this was the importance of source encoder. In next lecture we will start digital communication, and that's all for today's lecture.